Without a shadow of a doubt, we back at it again. It got to be 7 o'clock, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's the war zone. We one man short, but he coming. Say I got my co-host in the building, Demetri K, and I am the 5-star general. Say, man, it's something gotta be in the water in Missouri City, Texas, man. Cause them boys ain't playing down there on that gridiron, but they ain't playing on that track. Say, man, it's serious down there. I got the baddest track coach in the nation, Lloyd Banks, in the building with us tonight on the War Zone. Missouri City, Texas, time to stand up.
Appreciate that, Monroe. Appreciate that.
Say, man, I want to welcome y'all to the War Zone. And as I always say, man, thank you for tuning in, because without y'all, we couldn't do this. And just to let y'all know, in case y'all think we've been being nice, we've been good all day. We've been raising hell all day. We've been raising hell on different platforms all day. When I get off this one, I got to get on another. I'm going to raise hell all day. Joe Biden is trash, but we'll talk about that later on. Say tonight, man, I got the family in the building, man. I got the family in the building, man. Yates alumni, but it ain't about JY. It's about a school that sits in Missouri City, Texas. And it's like they in their own world of me. And I mean, from a community standpoint, from the way that some people treat them, it's like they in their own world, but that's okay. Because when you in your own world, you can do some great things. And those kids out there are some great kids, whether it's girls track, boys track, football, the whole 9 yards, basketball, everything. Just a bunch of good kids that's stuck in the same building. But they got this track team, man, that when I'm looking at these cats, man, I'm just like, all these boys running a 4x1 must run a 3.9 40-yard dash.
I wish.
They that fast, man. So, I called up my man, head coach Lloyd Banks, told him, man, we wanna shine a light on Missouri City, man, and asked him to pop into the War Zone. What's going on, coach?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. How you doing, coach? Everything good? Man, I'm good, man. I'm blessed, highly favored, man. Just happy to see you another day, bro.
Oh man, I appreciate you stopping by, man. Man, all I can say, I've seen people build programs from the ground up and not have a smidget of the success that you guys have had out there, especially on the football field, but more importantly, with this track team. And this track team is nationally known. I mean, you can't scream boys track in high school unless you scream in Marshall High School. And the good thing is I went out there to help do something, Demetri, and help the kids on something. And the actual, I think it was the PTO, made me an honorary Marshall Buffalo. So I'm a Yates Lion and I'm an honorary Marshall Buffalo. So, oh yeah. So, coach, give us a little background on your coaching experience and where you come from, bro.
Well, first of all, I'm gonna say I'm always believe kids and gold. You know that. I'm third world kids at heart. Lockhart, Ryan Yates. Played ball under Coach McGuire, ran track with Coach Bush. I love those individuals to death. They're sharpened pretty much, as a coach. I take a lot from them. A lot of people like to ask about, hey man, what y'all got going on over in Missouri City. And I said, listen, I learned it a long time ago. We're gonna work hard. Period. No substitute for it. We're gonna work hard, we're gonna have a good time doing it. And we're all gonna be on the same page. At the end of the day, I want our kids to be successful and try to put in a position where they can change their zip codes, I tell everybody, we're gonna see these kids in school. It's cool to be successful, going out winning and all that good stuff. That's a beautiful thing. But if you give me 4 years, you got to go to school. I don't care I don't care where it's at. As long as I get these kids to school and get the education paid for, I feel like I've done my part. And I love it. I never get tired of it. Never a dull moment with it. Like I tell my kids, you give me 4 years, I'm gonna give you 4. Period.
Coach, I mean, and when you say that, a lot of people, when they think of a student athlete, they can't brag on that aspect of it. You know, the kid leaving high school, going to college. In the last 4 years, how many kids have you sent to college, no matter what division?
Oh man, last 4 years. Matter of fact, it's funny you said it, Maron. I got it in my phone because I had an interview about that a couple of weeks back. Let me pull it up right now. The last 4 years.
I know it's
football and track. The kids that play football and track and field, we sent 26 kids to school.
Wow. 26 student athletes. Yeah. And the crazy part, I'm gonna tell people, you're not just sending them to any school. I mean, these kids going D1.
Yeah.
These kids are going D1. I know y'all had a phenomenal football season. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, Demetri, unless you see this, it'll blow you away. It'll blow you away. And this is my last question. I'm past to Demetri. How many state championships have y'all won?
Out of the last 5 years, we won 4 state championships the last 5 years. We won in 15, 16, and 18, 19. And I'm pretty confident that if we'd had the opportunity to finish this year off, we'd have got it this year. The kids were prime and ready. And they were, like, when I say chomping at the bit to go, they were ready to go. You know, we finished the season, even though it was shortened. We finished the season number 1 in the nation, 4x1, number 2 in the nation in the 4x2 and in the 4x4. So, you know, and we were looking to drop. The kids were, you know, like I said, they was, you know, getting healthy, a lot of them, and just antsy, just ready to go. We was getting to the championship portion of the season, the district, and so forth, the song, and they were ready. They were ready to rock. You know, they were looking good in practice, and all of them, you know, the funny thing about it, like I tell everybody, I got to turn them down. Now I actually have to tell the kids, hey, relax. You know, as a coach, that's one of the good things when you're in this position, you have to turn kids down and not turn them up. Man, you sit in a good place. It's a real good place. So, you know, I'm proud of their work. I'm proud of the kids that came before them to set the standard. You know, now it's funny. I can't think the last time I had to have a conversation with a kid about effort. And a lot of times the kids get them before I get them. If we're on the track and somebody's not doing what they're supposed to do, the old head to get them before I get them. They be like, say, fam, we don't talk about effort up here. We're gonna have a problem with effort. You can go to the backfield. You know, I don't have to say a word because everybody understands that. You know, the expectations is high. You know, and the last thing I want to do is be the group that's known as to not finish highly in the state or nationally. You know, they really have gravitated towards the standard. And as a coach, I can't do nothing but love it.
Ms. Demetri?
So, welcome to the War Zone once again. So I guess in order to win championships, the athletes have to be fast, right? So I read a quote of yours, or it was one of your beliefs, and you believe that all students can be taught. Now, do you believe that all athletes can be taught speed, or is that something that comes natural to them?
You know, speed is funny. It's very difficult to make someone fast. That's a very, very, very hard thing to do. And that's why it's such it puts such a high price on it. Like we watch, you know, if you listen to any sports, whether it's football, basketball, whether sport, there's always a high pressure on speed. I've always, like I tell my linemen doing football, if you're a big boy, you can run, you're gonna get paid. Period. I don't care what you're doing on God's green earth. If you're in athletics and you fast, they're gonna find something to do with you. Some of it is some kids run out of bed with it. There's some kids you try your best as a coach not to get in the way. You know, you try not to be too smart and mess them up. And you have some kids that just come along, they're hard workers, and you develop them and they become great. You know, I've had a lot of those. But some of the kids, you know, you have some kids that just roll out of there with it. You know, I found a couple of kids just in PE, just messing around, not knowing that they can run, because, you know, we're in a great state of Texas where you know, football and basketball are king. You know, so a lot of times you have the kids that get caught in those middle sports. They don't really know they have that kind of ability. And you know, once you get them out there, like I tell the kids all the time, give me a track meet, Give me 2 weeks of practice. If you feel like you don't want this, I'll never bother you again. So a lot of times they get enamored with the work, and as you have a little success, and they take off. You know, all you do got to just show them, and sometimes you just show the kids a little light, and they'll gravitate to it.
So have you ever had, and I don't know if you answered this before, any students or athletes go to the Olympics?
Not Olympics, but I did have, because again, this is my 10th year Marshall. I had a kid last year named Amir Ladin who ran in the World Championships, and I'm very proud of him. He's doing his thing, and he was looking forward to this Olympic year. This is going to be an Olympic year for him. But you had COVID, whatever case may be, and he got pushed back. So hopefully next year he gets the opportunity. But he'll be most definitely in the mix, though. I had a couple of matter of fact, it's funny you say that. I have a couple of kids that could have ran, but I got some kids that play football. So when they see them dollar signs, it's like I think I'm gonna lean towards football a little bit. So and I can't knock them for it. I totally understand. Like I tell them, my number one priority is just to get you there. Whatever you decide to do once you get to college, it's you. I just want to get you to school.
So, what are your athletes doing to stay conditioned during this time, because they can't really, get together due to the social distancing? So, are you giving them advice or having them run drills or something to keep them?
Ms. Kate, honestly, when everything went down, our first thought process was, hey, let's just stay in shape. We had no idea for how long this was going to be or any of that. So a lot of my kids, they just took it upon themselves to put a schedule up. They work out Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. They get together, and they go to different parks, hills, and so forth and so on, and they get it done. And now they give me a call, let me know what they did today, who's doing what, who didn't show up. I'm like, they just understand that the expectation level, it is what it is. There's no bending in, there's no any of that. We're gonna work, and they love it, and they haven't stopped. They have not stopped. They haven't stopped since we all went down. So again, they get together 3 days a week, and they just go. They haven't stopped, and they enjoy it. Boys and girls out there, they're running, drills, the whole nine. They're having a great time together, and they're getting better.
Nice.
Let me ask you something, Coach. As I know we had it when you got coached by Coach McGowan, who was my offensive coordinator. I got coached by Coach Booker.
Right.
And I want you to explain how important it is to have not just a coaching relationship with your kids, but have a personal relationship with your kids, especially kids that come from quote unquote, the troubled areas.
Yeah. Man, I tell everybody, I say, Monroe, man, it's very difficult to ask a kid to give you 100% if they don't know you. You can't ask me to run through the wall. You can't ask me to be out here running these laps and sweating and dying and so forth and so on if me and you don't have some kind of connection. I've always felt, I don't care what it is. I don't care how small it is, how big it is. Each one of my kids, we have something that we share individually that nobody else have. All my kids. I don't care if it's a rap song. I don't care if it's some kind of food we eat. I don't care if it's something that we read, a quote, an athlete we like. We have something that we all share. I'm firm believer in that you have to reach them outside of the playing field. We know why you're here. We know you can play football, run track, the whole nine. I get that. But for me and you to go to the next level, we got to go a little deeper. I just always believe that you have to have that. They have to know you care. Again, I tell people all the time, I'm in high school athletics for a reason. I'm not here to. I love it. I'm a teacher. I love what I do. If it's about the money, if it's about the next level, then I'll be in college. But for me, this stage of development is very important. Like me, we lose a lot of kids in high school level.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it. I've had a lot of great friends growing up in where we grew up just fall off, not because they weren't good people, just have anybody hold their hand through it. Sometimes you need somebody. Sometimes not all day could be men. Sometimes you need somebody to hold your hand through it. That's gonna be all right. That was one of the defining factors of me teaching. Period. I lost so many friends coming along that I knew they were good people. And just the vehicle is just athletics. But I'm a teacher, and I tell everybody I'm a teacher first. And I love them. I love them. Can't none of my kids say I don't love them. Now I might bite them. might bark a little bit. They know I love them to death.
I know. I think it was last year. You guys want to run to the state championship in football, and I can kind of, correlate football with track because a lot of people don't know. Back when we were going to school, if you played football, you had to run track.
Period.
I don't care who you was, lineman, whatever. You had to run track.
Right.
So that's just the way it went. And I know y'all won a state championship run, and you lost one of your players. How tough was that for not just the team, which would include football and track, but for that whole school and that community, man?
That's very difficult. When you're trying to, first off, let me say something about Drew. Drew was a good kid, infectious attitude. On the very first day, he showed up. He had been down. He'd been chilling for during the spring, and it was summertime. He came in and he was lifting, and one of the first workouts, he threw up. He was like, "Say, man, y'all getting it, getting it here." I say, "Man, welcome home." And all he did was pick that plate up and keep going. Like he ain't quit. There was no quit in him. And I remember everybody looking at him like, "All right, yeah, he gonna be fine then." Well, no quit. You know how it go. You know how it go when you meet new people and you kind of find it. Let me see where his heart at. And his first little test, he passed with flying colors. So after that, a lot of kids kind of gravitated to him and say, he got something. He got something. But just going through that whole process was difficult. Because first off, we human first. I know the athletics is something that we love, man, and we rock with it. So with the song, but we lost a kid. We lost a kid, very good kid, and it was very difficult trying to go back and forth, man, between athletics and just the human nature of things. Because you have some kids that's really distraught behind that. And it's hard. It's hard to be like, "Hey, man, let's get back up and get ready to play some ball." But the motivating factor there was, "And let's do it for Drew." After that, it was easy. Our whole administration did a wonderful job of handling that. They could have been. They gave us a little time to mourn. They could have been hard on us and, "Hey, man, this happens, but this is." But I applaud administration for being hands-on like they were, and understanding. And it's just the kids too. They picked up where he left off, and they did a pretty good job on the rest of the season. But just what he stood for. We ain't quit. We ain't fight. I know as a coaching staff, we see our kids. We know our kids are getting tired. It was emotionally they were spent. It's hard enough playing games against people. And you know how I go when you get in that third, fourth, fifth round. It's different football right there. And
I say this, coach, especially see this thing I tell coaches. The fourth and fifth round, and even game 16.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never been there, you don't understand
different, baby,
what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
And then when they'll come to one of your workouts in the summer and see how you working these boys, man, dude, that's what it takes.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, hard work beat talent when talent don't work hard.
Yeah.
That's all it boils down to. And in the state of Texas, and track is starting to be a hotbed, just like basketball and football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, you're going to have to leave it on the floor.
You got to.
Because when you get outside the city of Houston, it get real.
Those one-horse towns, you got to remember, you're the disadvantage. You playing a team that's one-horse town, you got everybody in the city go to one high school, and they've been doing the same thing since they've been in the third grade.
Exactly.
It's hard. It's a hard deal. It's a hard deal, especially because, we have our time restrictions, and so with us on, and, our kids, we have different things. Hey, baby boy got to go to work. You might have a situation where it's just him and his grandma and his two other siblings, so it's a different thing. Like I tell people, we have to, as coaches, especially where we at, man, you have to do a good job of managing your kids. Sometimes I tell a lot of times I talk to coaches about this. We love to coach the sport. You got to coach the kid. You got to coach the kid. It's different. I understand sometimes things have to be black and white, but some of our babies are a little different. Some of our babies got different situations, and you have to understand that, and you got to be able to adjust. And I think as a coaching staff, I think we did a pretty good job with that. We have our moments because you always want to, you want things to be black and white, and you want things to flow how you want them to flow. But you're dealing with kids here, and it's bad enough with adults. You can't even get adults to do some things sometimes. So especially when you talk about some kids, like I tell my kids all the time, I said, man, it's a very hard deal being a young black man. We expect you to make grown man decisions at 16. I tell my kids all the time, I said, man, you're 16, but you setting up your 30-year-old self. I said, the things you're doing right now is going to affect, 30-year-old Greg. Go to school, baby boy. Put yourself in a position, go to college, finish school. 30-year-old Greg, appreciate that. I know right now you don't understand it because you're 16 and I'm asking you to move like a grown man, but please feel me. Trust me. I tell my time, just trust me through it because you're setting yourself for your future. One day you're going to have a lady on your arm. You're going to have some kids. She's going to think you're cute. You're going to lay down and have some kids, and you have to be able to take care of them, and nobody going to understand those excuses. As a man, we can't do excuses, So let's stop that now. We started early when they come to the door. We have excuses. That we can't do it. As men, we can't do it. I can't allow you to lay on that and find solace in that. Them excuses out the window. So and like Monroe, this job is different. Like I tell people, if you think you're just gonna come to Marshall and coach sports, then it's not the place for you. You gotta coach kids. You gotta coach kids. You're gonna be there. You're gonna be there real early. You're gonna be there real late. You're gonna have to feed some kids. It just is what it is. If that ain't what you want to do, then you gotta go somewhere else. So because I take my hat off to all my coaches, man. We really about them kids. We really are. Good group of men. Good group of men, man. We about those kids and making sure that they get makes the next level. Like I said, all our kids, man, all y'all not gonna play sports at the next level, and that's okay. It's okay. All we hope is we gave you a palette, set the expectation of being a man. You're gonna work hard and try your best to be a good pillar of the community.
Ms. Demetra?
So you kind of touched upon my next question a little bit. I read where students actually consider you to be a father figure. For one, did you know that? And how, because you kind of talked about it a little bit, but how important is that for you to be seen as a father figure?
I don't think I go into it saying that, because, some of these young men, they have fathers, whether they're around or not. So I never want to disrespect the role of their father. I think more than anything else, for those young men whose father not around, I try my best to model behavior. I'm far from being perfect, but I've always believed in your kids will take on the personality of their head coach. And I like to believe that if they see me working hard, they see me being diligent, they see me making sure that it's about business first, that's something that they can hold on to and use in further in life. I can't help it. I love them. You have different coaches. Everybody have different coaching styles. I'm just me. I'm just one of those hands-on. That's just, I don't know the way to do it. I got to have my hands on you, That's just how I came up, That's how it was for me when I was at Yates. They cared about us. I had coaches that, they knew, they knew our situations, they knew, they got all the paperwork. They know where we stay, who we with. A lot of times who your daddy was, who your uncle and them are. So they know what's up. And I think without saying anything, I just kind of, that's what I saw growing up. So, I tweak a couple of things here and there. I've always believed as a coach, I coach kids the way I wanted to be coached. And I've always thought it was very important to ask kids how they doing, what's going on, outside of the, of the world of athletics. It's important because again, like you're talking about, if they got some real physiological things going on home, then worrying about catching the ball or running in this 200, that's the furthest thing from their mind if they ain't ate today, So you got to get in there with them, and I love them. I love them to death. That's just, I'll give them shirt on my back. That's just how I am, and everybody's different, and I will never knock anybody for how they do it. That's just me. I'm Give them shoes, give them shirts. It don't matter. Just as long as you're good, I'm good.
So speaking of getting it in there with them, do you actually run with them sometimes?
I used to. The older I've got, the further away from the track I've gotten. when I first started with Batista, with Monroe's nephew Batista, I used to run with him. You know, I had a few of them, and I get out there and run with a song. Now I get in the weight room with them, throw some weights up, whatever. But I'm running, man. I kind of backed away from the running a little bit. They out there killing me because as a coach, when you decide to step in that arena with them, you could be the slowest kid in the building. If you get on that track, they're gonna give you 100. They're gonna try to mash you. So, I love it. I love it. We compete on some things, but now when it comes to the track, man, some kids, like I tell them, if you beat me, if I'm beating you, we got a problem. So, but I love we have fun. We do compete in some things, but I let them have it on the track.
I tell you, man, I never got a chance to tell you, and y'all will know. Lloyd Banks was a track coach over at Yates, my old high school. My nephew, and I would import him all the way from Siena to come over to Yates because that's where I wanted him to go to school. And he played football, and he thought he was all world in football. And I told him, make sure you run track. He had ran, with the track clubs, but when it was time to go to college, Lloyd Banks got him to college on a full ride. I think that year Jalen graduated with the most scholarship money to the University of Texas Arlington on a full ride. And all it really took to get that going was me telling his mama, no, this is the school I want him to go to in high school. This is where I want him to go. I need him around these guys. I need him around these types of coaches, man, because I knew that Coach Banks and all those folks that were there had a lot of old school in them, and I needed him around that type of discipline because Lloyd Banks doesn't just coach football and coach track. He's teaching these young men how to be men, and all he's doing is using the game of football and track as an attribute to pull it off. So I thank you, man, for getting him to school. He went to school, graduated with his degree, 4 years for free. And that's what I told him. Just use athletics to get your degree.
Yeah, please.
So what's the difference? And this is my last question for you, Coach, and I'll let Dimitri close it out. What's the difference between today's athlete and athletes like when we were in school?
Man, I get asked a lot. Man, one thing is access. We had to be, we didn't have these camps. We didn't have social media. We didn't have all that. Today's athlete, and I'm gonna be honest with you, across the board, they're more talented. They're not as tough as we were. And I think a lot of that is due just how we grew up. There's a sense of entitlement, which kind of bugs me out a little bit, but athletically as a whole, not individually, because I see some cold cats. As a whole, they're bigger, stronger, faster as a whole. I think that's just human nature, But the toughness level is a lot. It's a lot different. We will go. We'll spend 90 minutes. We'll spend 90 minutes just tackling each other. You know what I mean? And it wouldn't bother. It wouldn't have bothered the soul. It wouldn't. We'll go a whole 2 hours not drinking no water. I'm not saying it was smart, but I'm just saying this is how we came up. We was bred different. We just were. We ain't had problem walking nowhere. I stayed. I stayed on the big arms. So every day, off the bayou, I'm walking the bayou, walk all the way to Ryan, walk back. That little money, that little $5 Mama gave me on Mama gave me $5 Sunday night. And you think I was putting it on the bus? I ain't putting nothing on the bus. That's going in my pocket. I'm walking everywhere. And that's just different. I hear kids now get out, just finish practice, they get on their phone, call mama, come pick me up. Like, what? You sat on the street? Wow. Oh no, I ain't walking nowhere. I ain't doing no walking. So that's just, it's a little different. Like I say, this is a sense of entitlement, a little spoiled, but but they are talented. You just got to hold their hand. It's a little different. That's about it.
So I guess if I have the last question, I'll ask you this. In your opinion, who is the greatest track and field athlete of all time?
All time. I would say the best track and field sprint. Let me break it. Let me give you two. I'm gonna give you two different sections, two different answers. I think the greatest sprinter of all time is Usain Bolt. Period. I think the best track and field athlete of all time was Carl Lewis. You know, Carl Lewis was also a jumper, and he did a lot for the sport. You know, I think that those two individuals, if you mention those names, most people automatically know exactly what you're talking about. And whenever you can, I've always been one of those people. If you can tell the story of track and field without an individual, then they weren't that important. You can't tell a story of track and field without saying Carl Lewis or Usain Bolt. Period. Those will be the first two people you'll hear. You can't tell that story without them. So again, I said that I would again the greatest sprinter of all time, Usain Bolt. The greatest track and field athlete of all time, I give to Carl Lewis. Period. You know, again, both those two individuals have done a lot for the sport. I laugh about it. I said, man, you know, Jamaica's a small country, but yet and still, every year they putting out super track and field athletes. And I mean, for that small country to do what they do on a national scale, not nationally, on a national scale, is a beautiful thing. My hats go off. I had to always go off to them. You know, they don't. You know, it's a poor country. You know, they don't have all the resources we have over in the States, but they still get it done. You know, my kids laugh at me because I kind of take some things that they do in the training. You know, we stay in the grass a long time over at Marshall. And they be like, man, why are you in the trash? Why are you on the grass? Let's get on the track. Look, I'm watching Jamaicans do it. It looked like it worked. I'm seeing some success. We're going to use the same thing. So, again, hats off to those two individuals.
I tell you what, Coach, we're going to end it with this here. One, I want to applaud you and all those coaches, all those hardworking teachers at Marshall High School.
Right.
Marshall has a lot of similarities with the way that they're treated by a lot of people like Yates has. I mean, at the end of the day, we're kind of connected to each other.
We are.
You know, because some days it's like nobody cared about us. Nobody believed in us. And we had to put the hood on our back. And that's the one thing I like about whether it's football, boys track, girls track. It's like y'all put the hood on your back. We're gonna do it for the hood, man. And that's what it is. And the hood love you back. So I applaud you, Doc, for everything that you've done for those children, you and all those coaches, man, giving that whole community an identity. And just keep up the good work, my friend. And you know, hopefully we can get to the field this year.
Most definitely.
I know we done faced realignment in UIL this year, so I know some people in gauntlet districts, but I never kind of worry about it with Marshall football because the one thing they gonna do is play football on a Friday night. You're gonna hard hat over there playing with them boys. So man, thank you and all those coaches for what you do for those children every single day, brother. Thank you so much.
Ms. K, thank you. I appreciate you for having me. Anytime, anything you need, man, you know, you can call on me. I got you.
All right, my brother.
All right, all love and say y'all have a good one.
All right. Yeah, man, if y'all just tuning in, that's a bad boy right there, man. 4 state championships in 5 years. Ranked #1 in the country before the pandemic come through. The only thing could run them out the stadium was the coronavirus. That was it. I know y'all done tuned in because y'all want some fireworks. Well, we're going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to Dimitri. You can start it up. Because I know they waiting. Some people waiting, man.
I wish I would have made me a glass of vodka before I
The hottest topic in the country right now.
I'm going to tell y'all what. I don't drink much, but tonight I got like a bottle of champagne back there. I might crack it open. Just in the last couple of days, the conversations that we've been having, you know, specifically in regards to Joe Biden, has just been mind blowing. I mean, even as this unfolds, and what is this? The fact that he said if you don't know who you're voting for, if you haven't decided who you're going to vote for between him and Trump, you ain't black. The conversation is still raging on, especially on social media. And again, as we talked about last time, or a couple hours ago, rather, it's just mind blowing that people, I call it nagger splaining, play on the other words. We got people who are trying to explain what Joe Biden meant or what they thought he said. Even his campaign advisors are trying to walk it back a little bit and say, oh, it was just, it wasn't just, he was playing around. Then he apologized saying, oh, I could have been trying to be a wise guy. But anybody who has followed the career of Joe Biden knows that he does a lot of gaffes, which are goofs. Some people would liken it to a Freudian slip of the tongue, where consciously you didn't mean to say it, but subconsciously you did, and so it kind of just comes out, right? That's just kind of been his thing. But like I said, I'm just stuck at people trying to explain it away. He said what he said. I don't understand, where the confusion is.
Well, first of all, Brenda says she was looking for Donovan, and we've been going at it all day on this thing. We might need to check on Donovan to make sure one of them Biden supporters ain't snatched him up.
Or he ain't drunk.
Yeah, somewhere. But we'll find out. I kind of feel like you. I feel like I see a lot of black folk making excuses for him. Trying to act like he didn't mean it. He was joking. How the hell you know what Biden was thinking? You don't know. But you're going to try to make every excuse. I mean, me and you have been getting, we've been on threads today, folk upset. And I'm talking about black folk that I know, trying to tell me why I need to vote for him. No, you can't tell me to vote for him. If you don't have a problem with that old ass white man disrespecting you, then that's your business. I got a problem with it. So, I really think, honestly, whatever shot he thought he had at the presidency, I think that it went down the drain today. I just think that I don't think, unless he can get Michelle Obama, I don't think he got a shot in hell of beating Trump at all. Whatever percentages he had before he woke up this morning, he no longer has those. I don't think that he has it. And I mean, he can try to explain it away, but words are like bullets. Once you shoot them, you can't take them back. So you can't take it back. You can't walk this down. You can't clean that up. Maybe if he'd have listened to his staffer and got off that interview when he told him, he would not have said what he said. But he exposed himself for who he truly was, and now we need to treat him accordingly.
Yeah. Once he got off the interview, I know his is going crazy. I know we got a little bit of feedback. See something. Yeah, my phone is down. But yeah, I know he got a lot of heat from his team because, I'm in public relations. And so you do have handlers, especially when you're running for the presidency of the United States. You have handlers, you have people you have to listen to. And I know the whole time that he was speaking, they were just biting their nails. Like, when is the other shoe going to drop? When is he going to say something that's going to potentially cost us maybe the campaign or the election? And sure enough, he didn't disappoint. But, they're saying, too, that he's actually falling behind with black voters. He's only trending within the 80 percentile for black voters. And normally for a Democratic candidate, it's in the 90s. And so I would say after today, I think definitely a lot of people are going to start thinking about, okay, like, we've been in denial about a whole bunch of stuff up until this point, but we really can't deny, what he said. I mean, it's just like most people I know don't like to be pandered to. And that's what he did. I mean, that was just a complete, like, if you look in a dictionary under pandering, you would have saw a picture of Joe Biden. Okay, he threw in the NAACP. He threw in, if you ain't black, if you don't vote for him, and I didn't really do this, that, and the other. The crime bill wasn't really this; it was a drug bill, and the Congressional Black Caucus actually asked him to do it, which I did read. That is true, but even still, he was making the decisions. And not only just at one time, but in 82, 80, I think 84, 86, 88, and 94. So we continuously, drew up these crime bills that disproportionately hurt Black people in Black communities. And we are still suffering the effects of it to this moment. And so for him to say, oh, well, I was being a wise guy, it's like, are you joking with us? Does the Black community look like we need somebody to be joking when it comes to the things that go on in our community? And why would you think any of that is funny? I mean, honestly.
Here's my thing. Chris Ray.
I saw that.
Well, Karita Cheeks, I respect you guys for keeping or even tuning Black voters in to Biden for what he's done and what he hasn't done. But what's the alternative? Can you just give the viewers an alternative? And then Chris said he made a mistake. When you're a racist, you don't make mistakes. You make comfortable statements. You made a statement that you were comfortable making. Now, if you guys need to put some fluff on that, then it's cool. But I know if he was in the regular world, working a regular job, you would be after him right now. You would be trying to make him lose his job. You see what I'm saying? Now, as far as the comment, can you give us an alternative? Just like Tara said earlier, you have more options than Biden and Trump. But the thing is, we don't want to see past Biden. You have other options. You definitely do. So, if you believe he made a mistake, that's your business. I've worked around racists for 12 years. He didn't make no mistake.
I guess I'm trying to figure out how is that a mistake? A mistake is you accidentally tripping over something. That's a oops. But a mistake, I mean, he couldn't, it's like he could have just not said anything, but he threw that in almost like, let me just throw everything in there to get them to vote for me. I'm going to accuse him of not, but that's not a mistake. He knew what he was doing. They are professional panders. That's what they do. They pander to the Black community and they say and do anything because they know 9 times out of 10, we're going to eat it up. Ooh, Joe Biden said, I ain't Black if I don't vote for him, and he know I'm Black. So, I mean, a mistake? That's what I call nag-explaining. You're trying to explain away some bullcaca. Joe Biden don't need you to explain that away. He's a big boy. He pays people probably hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that job. He doesn't need you to do that. He said what he said.
Karita Cheeks, I know why you're asking me that. Can you explain the options? I know every option. Write them in. You can write Louis Farrakhan. Why don't you write your name in there? But you definitely don't have to vote for that sucker. You don't. And I don't care who y'all vote for. I'm gonna say y'all. I don't care. You're not gonna beat him. When you have a fool making these kind of comments and you running against a machine, you're not going to beat him. It's just not going to happen. So I need you to prepare for another 4 years of this reality show. You need to prepare for another 4 years of this reality show. Now, Chris Ray say, what about the Black Democrats we've been voting for 40 years who've been giving us the same speeches for years? You want to speak on that one? Because we talk about that all the time.
So now we actually agree. I don't know what that is. It sounds like a monster.
Hold on, let me mute my microphone.
So now much better. So now we actually agree. We're coming to a consensus here. You're exactly right. Why keep voting for the same people who keep telling us the same lies, who keep giving us the same speeches? And so to Karita, you want to know what the alternative is? The alternative is to force their hand. If you want our vote, then you need to give us something for our vote. We don't want any more speeches and, you know, none of that. We want something tangible, something to say, oh, this is so nice and shiny. It's beautiful. Look what I got for my vote. Whether it's reparations, whether it's better education, whether it's better housing, whether it's some land, whether it's freedom, justice, and equality. We want something we can say it was worth the blood that our ancestors spilled during the civil rights movement in order for us to get here. We want something we can actually sink our teeth into. So I agree with you. What about the Black Democrats? They're the worst. But I always say too, why do we keep voting for them? Because they give us a nice soundbite. I'm reclaiming my time. I mean, you know how many people ran away with that? Auntie Maxine Waters, I'm reclaiming my time. People went to the booth simply because she was reclaiming her time, and she was talking, and I'm going to reiterate this, she was talking tough to Trump. But to this day, she hasn't held Trump accountable at all. Isn't she the head of the finance committee? And she's supposed to be doing this and that and nothing for Trump and to Trump. What has she done? She gave you guys some cute little sound bites. You went and put it on t-shirts. You didn't put it on your cover picture on Facebook, and you done ran around talking about, ooh, Auntie Maxine claiming her time. She's claiming her time. But what has she actually got for you? She got her time, but what did you get?
Here's the thing. You hold the power. You hold the power. Because holding your vote gonna make some people tighten up. It's gonna make some folk tighten up. Now, if holding the vote means that you don't vote for Biden, shift that same energy over to Congress. Shift it over to the Senate. Shift it over to the state senators. Shift it over to the state legislators. I guarantee you we get some act right when ain't nobody voting for them. When they start losing their seats, then we will clearly understand that we hold the power. But you gotta make them feel it. See, I'm gonna tell you what I believe. God will take you through hell to get you to heaven. And if I gotta go through hell for 4 more years to make sure I can get to heaven, then that's gonna show them you just don't get my vote like this no more. We played this game enough. This game was being played when I was coming out of my mom's womb. I'm 52 years old. This game was being played. I think 52 years is long enough. It's long enough. And if you are comfortable giving your vote to these people and we not get anything in return, then that's the way it's going to be. You can't keep blaming that on Trump. You have to blame it on them people. It is what it is. No, it ain't no prior. No, let me put your comment up. I agree with holding the vote, but it must be done now. Prior. I think hold your vote right now. Everybody felt bamboozled. You people mad at Puffy. Puffy felt bamboozled because of Obama. He felt he didn't get anything for his vote. And that's a man that has everything. But when your community suffers, enough is enough. We have to stop this. And we can't fix it unless we start holding people accountable. And I'm sorry that it has to be Joe. If Joe cannot come up with a very serious agenda for Black people, then there is no need for you to give him your vote. I'm sorry. And that means you're going to have to hold on tight to your faith for 4 more years, because God going to take you through hell to get you to heaven. But I knew it was something I wanted to say to you this morning when we were on the other program, that, and I done forgot it again. Go ahead. Just that I've been trying to say it like 2 or 3 times and I keep forgetting it.
Well, maybe you're not supposed to say it for some reason. Maybe the universe is like,
It ain't a rough comment. It's just something that was pertinent.
I'm sure to come back to you. But I just really think at the end of the day, or we as Black people just have to know we deserve more and we deserve better. We have to draw the line in the sand somewhere and say enough. Like that corny Jennifer Lopez movie, Enough, when she put on the brass knuckles and she was, kicking her ex-husband's butt. We got to get to that point. Enough of the lies. Actually put something on the table that we can actually say, I think that's worth a vote. Let me think about it. But this lift every voice thing, this was just hollow. It was hollow. It was almost like him and Simone Sanders and all the other people on this team was like, let's go with the lift every voice because Negroes just love that song. It just does something to them. It just, let's call it lift every voice. And, let's do some gun control stuff. Well, as we know, gun control, we got a lot of issues with it, but we don't own that issue. That's white folks that actually own the gun issue. Those are the people who are running in and out of the, the malls and the movies and schools, and they're predominantly doing that. So to try to put the gun control issue solely on us, come on, Joe. We've already heard you say that you'd be damned if you are held responsible for something your ancestor did in regards to reparations. He says he's not paying it, but he paid Jews reparations because he says, to senior citizen Jews, he says, well, I don't think they should die with nothing. I think they should have something. So he did that under the Obama administration, and the Obama administration, including Barack Obama, said that he didn't think Black people should get reparations. It would be problematic, but they wrote a check to Jews. So I just think it comes down to us, for one, educating ourselves and feeling like we deserve something. I mean, we just do. It's like that almost reminds me of, Betty Wright, RIP. A piece of a man is better than no man at all. A janky candidate is better than no candidate. That's bull. How about you not have no man if your man ain't treating you right? And how about you don't vote for a candidate if the candidate is not suiting your needs? To me, it's not that hard.
We have to make up our minds. When are we just going to say enough is enough from these politicians? Everybody winning except for the voters. Everybody is winning except for the voters. You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, this goes back a long time. I said it this morning, decades and decades. We worry about voter suppression. Well, maybe there's a reason that we wasn't supposed to vote. Because when we come out in droves, we still don't get nothing out the deal. We don't get anything out the deal. And every city in America seems to have the same problems in the African American neighborhoods. We have African American representation, but yet we all have the same problems. High crime, issues with our seniors and healthcare, mental health. Our schools are failing. And when you try to have a conversation with these people, the only thing they're going to start talking about, if they politicians, they're going to tell you about the bills they wrote 20 years ago. I don't want to hear it. I got Janet Jackson syndrome. What have you done for me lately? And if Joe ain't did nothing for Mr. Monroe, you're not getting that vote. Not for me, man. I don't care what nobody else do. I can't do it. He has to come up with something, that shows that you have done something. See, I can't even give him the benefit of the doubt. You can't tell me what you gonna do. I want to know what you've done. And if you can't tell me what you've done, then I can't cast that vote for that dude. But I can't cast it for him anyway. He's a disrespectful.
And, just to be clear, I'm not casting a vote for Trump either, you know, because I know a lot of times people misconstrue it and say, well, if you're not going to vote for Biden, you must be voting for Trump. I'm not voting for either one of them. Neither one of them are good for Black people, right? And so as Farrakhan says, you know, and I'm paraphrasing, but, you know, Trump candidacy is going to make the hood great again, because it's going to force us to come together, unify, and see what we need to do to pull ourselves up, because ultimately it's going to take us to save us. No longer can we rely on a party, regardless of what party it is, to do for us what we should be doing for ourselves. And so I think, you know, as harsh as it's going to sound, it's probably going to take another 4 years of Trump before Black people really just say, hey, you know what? It's been a rough 8 years, but at least we're working on getting our stuff together. Because, you know, Trump will do something here and there for his African Americans, as he calls us, my African Americans, but it won't be what we should do for ourselves. And Biden is not even he's not even lying to us. He's just like, hey, I'm just gonna throw you a bone and see what you guys do with that. And unfortunately, some people are salivating over the bone with no meat on it.
This is what I've been trying to say 3 or 4 times. I told the wife, remember I was talking about the wife this morning, and we were arguing about Obama. And I say, if he win and he win re-election, I'm going to make you a promise. You're going to have some problems. She say, what you mean? I say, I'll talk to you after the second election. Because I knew he would probably win again. So when his second term was almost up, she say, I'm coming back to you. I want to know what you meant. I say, man, y'all don't even understand the game. I say, now you done got, and can I say it exactly how I say it? It's not a cuss word, but it incorporates the word nigga. I say, now you done had your nigga president for 8 years. They finna get it out your ass for the next 8. They gonna make you pay for that. That's exactly what I told her. They gonna make you pay for them 8 years, partner. So you got 8 and you capping, we gonna make you pay for the next 8. But you can't get mad at them because you're so busy focusing on Trump, you forgot about the Senate and the Congress. That's when you control the country. So you've let them folks slip through the cracks, and now you get $1,200 out of stimulus package. Because your people ain't got no power to get nothing else. Nothing else. You see what I'm saying? The pendulum, like Tara says, the pendulum always swings back. It's like throwing a boomerang. You threw it that way for 8 years. Now that thing to come back on you, huh? And they gonna make you feel it. No matter if you couldn't pass your laws or whatever you wanted to do, you couldn't appoint your people like you wanted to. They just felt you was capping too much. With your little fly banquets and usher in the White House and, you know, all these folk dancing around. Oh, we finna give it to you now. But guess what? You can't get mad. They control it now. When we control it, we do the same thing. We do the same thing. We just don't seem to be racist when we do it.
Well, and Mitch McConnell also said that having a Black president was reparations for Black people. Like, why aren't you satisfied? You had a Black president for 8 years. That's all we're going to give you. So I agree with you. You know, we are going to pay for it, which is why you see a lot of, like, don't ever think the racism wasn't always here. It's always been here. It's just, yeah, I would say Trump has emboldened them and given them, you know, a little extra rah-rah. But that's why we're seeing so much of it going on now. It's because Obama was in the White House, and now they feel like they got, you know, the great white hope in Trump. He's gonna, as they say, make America great again, and God knows what that really means. But at the end of the day, regardless of who's in office, we have to start doing for self like we used to do, after slavery, we were doing for self because nobody else was going to do for us, right? So, me personally, I can speak for myself, and I'm not going to vote for the lesser of two evils. I'm a student of Malcolm X, and Malcolm X told us voting for evil is still choose the lesser of two evils is still choosing evil. So, and I know it's a touchy subject, but this is a lot of Christians who have that ideology. Well, I'm gonna vote anyway. I'm gonna vote for the lesser two evils. God asks you not to be lukewarm. Why are you being lukewarm when it comes to a human? When God tells you not to be lukewarm, because I will spit you out of my mouth like vomit for being lukewarm, but here you are going to choose the lesser of two evils. That's confusion. And I don't go to church, not a religion at all, but I do know the Bible. And God, and I'm trying to speak to people because most of the time our Black Christians are usually Democrats as well. God is not the author of confusion. And voting for the lesser of two evils is confusion, right? So at the very least, I would just impress upon you guys and everybody, Black people, have some dignity, right? It's okay to walk away when you don't have when there's nothing you want being offered. Just walk away. You will be fine. We are the toughest people ever to walk planet Earth. We are so resilient and resourceful. We have overcome a lot of stuff. And trust me, 4 more years of Trump ain't gonna kill us. At the most, is going to unify us. And I think that's an unintended consequence that they, being the MAGA crowd, don't see that coming. Black people actually unifying.
Whether they want to accept it or not, after today, you finna have 4 more years. So you can sit around and fight around and act like you got a shot at it in November. Do whatever you want to do. You better be getting your mind right. Because we all in this. Me, I can handle it. Ain't nothing Trump do on a daily basis that bothers me. Nothing. You see what I'm saying? Ain't nothing Trump do on a daily basis bother Monroe. That man don't bother me. I ain't getting caught up in all that. I mean, it is what it is. So, the way I look at it, if one of them call you in your face, you hate him, but the one that call you in behind your back, you cool with him? Come on, man. That's a double standard. I tell y'all what, man. We really have to locate Donovan. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm gonna come right back on at about 8:30 with a watch party. I've been invited to sit on this other panel with a staunch Trump supporter and some Biden supporters. But with the OG sitting in the middle, ain't no telling what I'm gonna say. So you might want to watch that. Demetri, give them your final words, sweetie.
I would just say continue to get informed and educate yourself, even if you don't take our word for it. Go Google. Google Joe Biden, Google Donald Trump, and then Google what we as Black people need to do in order to save ourselves. I'll tell you what, better yet, please. If you don't do anything else, go study Marcus Garvey. Study Marcus Garvey, the teachings of Marcus Garvey, because that's where all the people that are leaders now and past, they got their ideology from Marcus Garvey. Please go read upon, go YouTube Marcus Garvey if you haven't already. And then all of this will make more sense to you. But at the end of the day, we have to do for self. As Marcus Garvey admonished us, he says, up, unite, mighty nation, accomplish what you will, because we are capable of doing that.
Tara said, well, what do you suggest we do in this situation? Well, it's a Friday night and you just got paid. Wake up in the morning, go to HEB if you got one close, get you some crawfish, potatoes, corn, and sausages. Boil it up, get you a big old box, put you some crawfish on it, and suck the crawfish the same way you run around here sucking Joe Biden. Better to suck crawfish than somebody that don't know if we black. Suck the crawfish, man. Say, I want to thank our guest, head track coach, Marshall High School, Missouri City, Texas, Coach Lloyd Banks. My co-host, Demetri K. We gonna locate Donovan. I'm coming back on with a watch party. Y'all don't want to miss this at 8:30, man. Don't get burning no crawfish. He get one that's too hot, he gonna die dead on arrival. Dead on arrival. Suck on them crawfish and stop sucking on Joe. That's what it is, man. I'll let you tomorrow, baby.